Good morning, gentlemen. After having talked about fear, phobia, cognitive distortion, it will be pertinent to talk about what we call it a biases. Biases can be two types generally: social biases, which are prevalent all around, or the cognitive bias. Today, we will just try and talk fundamental what is bias, and then subsequently we will talk about cognitive bias or cognitive bias later on. Okay. So now let's talk about what is a bias. What is a bias? Bias is a natural inclination for or against. It may be idea, object, group, or individual. It is often learned and is highly dependent on variables like a person, socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, educational background, etc. So point which must be noted around, if it learned, it can as well be unlearned. If we know we are doing a mistake, then we must also know how to correct it. Okay, we'll talk about it later on. At the individual level, bias can negatively impact person's relationship both as a person and as a professional. Today or tomorrow, you'll get caught in that trap which is set for yourself. At a societal level, it can lead to unfair persecution of a group, such as even we have heard of what Hitler did, Holocaust, or slavery, which was so prevalent all around. Okay. Now, having talked about it, now let's talk about bias is often characterized with what we call a stereotype. What is stereotype? Stereotype is nothing but a shortcut, shortcut, cognitive shortcut. Why it is cognitive shortcut? We don't want, our brain doesn't want to waste much time in taking a decision. Looking at a person, whether like it depends upon his caste, creed, or say color that he has got, you will say he is a good person or a bad person. How do you come to know about it? He has not even opened his mouth. You have not even talked to him. How to go about it? So there's a shortcut. So rather, it is not based on the actual knowledge of individual or circumstances about the people, but you have developed that shortcut for yourself. The group, it depends upon to the group in which you belong to, what we call it in group and out group, that you will talk about it. On an immutable physical characters based upon, is it fair, is it black, is it brown, is it male, female, is it Negro, or it is probably from Northeast. So many things comes to a play. It has it's the junk that has been created in our mind or by society or the people in and around that remains with us. Generally, it is a consequence what we call is a psychological group think, which creates divide among people. Discrimination or even violence may result. Whether positive or negative, cognitive shortcuts can result in a prejudgment that lead to rash decision and what we call it discriminatory practices. This type of bias can have harmful real-world outcomes. People may or may not be aware that they hold these biases. That the implicit bias refers to societal input that escapes conscious detection. We are not aware of it, conscious detection. Paying attention to helpful biases while keeping negative prejudice or biases at bay requires a delicate balance between self-protection and empathy for others. So our aim is, if we know what are the biases we have got it is good or bad. If it is negative, we must try and correct it. Okay. What causes this bias? From young age only, we start discriminating between those who are like me, what we call it in group. But why do you find in group? Because you find safety. It may be parents, it may be sibling, it may be countrymen, or religious cohort. Second is security during anxious time. You feel when I need it, someone would be available at my beck and call. Personal insecurity is perceived as lack of safety of entire in-group. So that you take it. If you are insecure, you feel the whole group to which you belong to becomes insecure, which may not be true. Or on the opposite to this is attack on a group is taken as a personal attack. Then opposite to the what is outgroup, that other than your group. You always feel your in group or the group which you belong to is the best, and anyone who is outside you, they are not the best. On the plus side, we by having biases, or by having in group and out group, we have got a certain identity and safety. We talked about it. Identity encompasses the memories, experience, relation, and values that create one's sense of self. Identity encompasses the values people hold, which dictate the choice they make. This amalgamation creates a steady sense of who one is over time, even as new facets are developed and incorporated into one's identity. Identity includes identity as a child, as a friend, as a partner, as a parent, as a husband, as a wife, what would be the case. It involves extended characteristics over which a person has little or no control, such as height, race. We can't change a parent. It's genetic, it is ability, God gifted. And it also encompasses political opinions, moral attitudes, and religious beliefs, all of which guide the choice one makes on a daily basis. So, what causes people to be biased? It is that us versus them mentality which results into this bias or prejudice, what we call it. How is it formed? Identity formation is influenced by parents and peers during our childhood and experimentation in adolescence. During childhood, someone tells you, don't go to him, he's a bad person, or don't sit with him, he is a poor man, he's a beggar, or he's a pandit. All sorts of things, biases are created since childhood itself by parents and people in and around us. And as we grow towards adolescence, we start forming our own opinion, which may or may not be right. Okay, this involves three key tasks: discovering and developing one's own potential. Though parents are telling you to do this, are you using your own what are the cognitions to decide whether it is right or wrong? Choosing one's purpose in life, finding opportunity to exercise what that potential and purpose for which you are here. So discrimination, as a result of bias, generally discrimination will result. And what is discrimination? Is the unfair or prejudicial treatment of people and groups based on characteristics such as race, gender, age, or sexual orientation on the basis of, and this leads to categorization. This leads to categorization. As a result, now, gentlemen, we have got certain biases which is stuck to it. So how can we reduce this bias or prejudice? Educating ourselves about identity development and the dangers of us versus them thinking. Alerting young people about the dangers of perceiving individuals as simply members of group rather than distinct individuals. Understanding how personal relationships can contribute to our satisfaction in living. Calming fears regarding anxiety, producing conditions in society. Right, gentlemen, having talked about the biases now and there, I'll give you why it is essential as far as the appearing in SSV or interview is concerned. It is important because assessors are trying to look around for any distortion or the bias which you have got it. I'll give there was a person, he was from SC/ST category, and his father was a highly praised government servant. Mind you, he himself, having taken the advantage of reservation, and his parents and the people have reached a certain high level of place in society, they refused, they had a bias towards their own fellow that is from the same caste, creed, and religion. They won't even interact with them. Why that bias? So bias has come back, they are bad, I'm good. I'm rich, he's poor. He doesn't deserve to go up, but I deserve to go up. So this is very, very important to understand, that we may be a Pandit or he may be a scheduled caste. Both of are human. When it comes to the, anyway, as far as army is concerned, he may be a sweeper or he may be a Pandit. Both of them sit on the same table, eat the same food. And it may even be served by the same sweeper in your system. You would be surprised. In the absence of a Panditji in a mandir, puja in certain units are being organized by, say, soldiers or the JCOs or men of other caste and religion. We, as an officer, are supposed to go into mandir, masjid, and churches almost at the same time and obeying the rules of the religion. So it is what we call Sarvdhan Sthal. So there is no bias. All of us equal. And there is only caste, creed, community, that is the people in uniform. So if you want to do well in life, as well as you want to pass certain interview, it is necessary that you understand any biases you have got it, which you would certainly be having in some form or the other. Understand them. Try and correct to the extent possible. And you would also having certain good positive bias as well. Try and develop them. I say working on the strength. It will all help you to do well in life. Right then, good luck. Next time we'll talk about what we call cognitive biases. Thank you.